Hello and welcome to Texans Talk Money. I'm Kyla, your host and a peer financial coach at Texan Smart. Every episode, we will be joined by another peer financial coach from my office, where we will be navigating all the roads on how to handle your money as a college student. So sit back and get your wallets ready to be Texan Smart.
Hey y'all, and welcome back to Texans Talk Money. My name is Kaiton, and I am one of your hosts. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than last week. We are missing Kyla, which is our other co-host. She is actually out of town with an organization on campus. So instead, I am joined by two PFCs from our office, Felisa and Hector. If y'all want to just kind of give yourselves an intro. Hector, you can go first.
Hey guys, so this is my second show. I'm Hector. Recently, I've been in the office. I've been working on Financial Family Feud. Actually, yesterday we were able to do a pop-up one at the Student Center. And I've been working with Felisa for our annual Finlit that will be coming around April. But I'm going to pass it on to Felisa.
Hey guys, thanks again, Kaiton, for having me. I don't even know how many podcasts I've been on at this point, but it's always a good time. Kind of like Hector said, we've been working on Finlit for the past couple months, so that'll be coming up soon in April. And then I've just been working on marketing and graphic design within the office. So,
well, it is lovely to have y'all here. It's going to be such a fun episode. So, like last week, we started our question segment for the podcast. And this week's question comes from Instagram, and it is, how do you start investing in a savings account? So fun fact, our next episode coming out is going to be with a bank employee from Wellington State Bank, which we'll get more in depth in that. But to kind of barely touch on that a little bit, my main advice is to go to the bank and kind of see what options each bank offers, and what may fit for you, just because sometimes I know there are different options. I don't know if you guys have a specific one that y'all know about. And then from there, kind of go off the 40-30-20 rule. 40% of your paychecks or whatever go to necessities, 30 to discretionary spending, which is kind of just fun times things, and then 20 into your savings account to help build that. But again, most of that will be answered in our next episode, not next week's. This week's episode is actually all about side hustles, which I think all three of us kind of have had a side hustle, do side hustles. A side hustle, if you are unaware, is just a form of extra income, or even just a small amount or a large amount, depending on what you're doing, how much you're charging. It's to kind of help keep up with bills, or just to have some fun money to go out with friends, go to concerts, different things like that. Typically it's more freelancing type things.
yeah, for sure. So, excuse me. Whenever we think of side hustles, you first want to kind of think about what goals you have in mind, if it's a certain amount of money that you want to reach, or just whatever kind of goal it could be. And then after that, determine what side hustle you think will be best to achieve that goal, and then move on from there. There's going to be a lot of different options that you have. There's babysitting, nannying, pet sitting. You can sell clothes, DoorDash, Instacart, anything of the sorts, but lots of good options out there for side hustles.
But when people do side hustles, you also have to remember, there's things you have to look out for, not keeping a reasonable schedule. So, to touch base on that, just basically, if you want to make money and stuff with your side hustle, you're supposed to, remember that, for example, cutting grass or, doing stuff like that, people are going to, the grass always grows, at least twice a month you have to cut it for, certain, it could be your neighbors or anyone. So, keeping a reasonable schedule and, staying consistent with it goes a long way, just because that's the way you're going to make your money from the side hustle. Another thing is just setting your prices too low. So, you don't want to cut, an acre of grass for someone and charge them $20, you get me? So, you have to be able to know your worth and, the prices that you want to set to be able to, make your money and make that side hustle keep growing and expanding. Another point I also made was don't have any goals for your extra income. So just basically means spending it all on a certain thing. For example, it can be, I know I have a friend that likes to spend all his money on Legos, and that really doesn't help his cause, because if you're making that side hustle, you should be able to invest it and save it for the future. And if you have a job, it allows you to pay your bills or buy your groceries and all that. So this ties back with don't budget your extra money so you blow through it. So that basically just means what I just explained. Like, don't spend your money on like things you don't need. Spend your money on like needs, not wants, because at the end of the day, that money can go a long way, and that goes to like paying rent or going to buy groceries or anything like that. But Felisa, do you have any type of side hustle?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to think about whenever we kind of go into side hustles. I know for me, I've done a lot of babysitting here with my time at Tarleton. I have a lot of older siblings, so with that comes a lot of nieces and nephews. So I've babysat them a lot, and then just come from like friends and family here in Stephenville. There's a lot of different ways to get side hustles. For me, it was just kind of connections, thankfully. But yeah, and then I think also just something else to really consider is balancing your time with doing side hustles on top of possibly doing a part-time job in school and extracurriculars and anything of the sorts. For me, I balance my time out pretty well. I like to think for the most part, but I really just try to not overbook myself. There's just a lot of things going on, but I keep a very detailed calendar to just keep everything like super organized and to balance my time out pretty well. But whenever I started to financially, I was just kind of looking to make extra cash. There wasn't necessarily a huge goal that I was trying to achieve, but I really just wanted to have extra money to spend for like fun and to not have to like ask my parents for extra stuff. But it wasn't anything crazy for me. But what about you, Hector?
So this one's kind of cool. I like to think it's pretty cool, but like I like to DJ. So that actually really like
cool.
it's a good side hustle. Like you get to make some good money out of it, and it doesn't take a long time. Like I DJ like at night and stuff. So like it's kind of like you make, I don't know, $200-$300, and you only put in like 2 to 3 hours of your time. So I feel like it really helped me, especially like now that I'm in college, and like how Felisa said, I don't like to ask my mom for like money or anything, just because like I don't know, I'm kind of like getting older, so I'm like I think I have to start working more. So I kind of got into it because a lot of my friends, like we kind of got bored of just like in the summer we just got really bored, so I bought like a little DJ controller, and I just started like working on it, and then I kind of just went from there, and then I met the right people, and like they kind of got me the job kind of thing. But the way I balance it is like I work at Texan Smart. If you want to visit us at Room Center 12 at the Thompson Student Center from 8 to 5. I'll be there, and all the coaches are here, so we can help you with any like budgeting or financial questions. So I have a schedule there, so I work with it, and then all the DJ stuff, it comes at night, so it never really interferes with my work schedule. So that's kind of how I balance it. And yeah, so I kind of just like go with that, and then if I ever get too like busy with schoolwork and stuff, it's not really a big problem. So that's something that I really like doing as well. I like music in general, so I love doing that as a side hustle.
No, definitely. That is a big part of why I do my side hustle, which I am a respite care or like a special needs nanny. So that is one of my other little passions, is working with people with special needs. I just find that very rewarding. I got into it, honestly, just by kind of luck, I guess, if that's the way you want to put it. One of my mother's coworkers kind of reached out and wondered if I was interested. I obviously was, and it kind of grew from there to just working with other people that she knew who also needed help, and so on and so forth. I balance that, honestly, with our job here at Texan Smart. Again, like Hector said, we have a set schedule for us at the office, and I just kind of schedule it around that, and I tend to only do it on the weekends that I know I'm not overloaded with homework or tests coming up, not a work event, things like that. So that's kind of easy on my end because I do most of it on the weekend, like I said. When I started, I really didn't have any goals. It was just because she needed help, and I was like, what's some extra money? Now it's very nice because my main work paycheck can go to my bills like rent, car payments, things like that, gas, and then that little bit of extra cash can come in and go to things like new shoes or a t-shirt that I wanted. Kind of different things like that. But, I mean, mine's pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of go and watch children. I mean, obviously, there's more into it, but
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
not the entirety of the episode.
Yeah, I feel like for at least us three, we kind of got our side hustles through connections is what it feels like.
Yes.
But if you find yourself, like struggling to pick a side hustle or find something that you feel like you would be good at, you can always think about your talents or your skills or just your interests and find different ways to develop those and market that as a service. You can find tons of different websites out there specifically for the services that you want to sell. So like if you are really good at algebra and you want to give, like some tutoring sessions, you can always just go out there, find a group of moms on Facebook and market that however you want. So there's a lot of different things and you can always kind of go get it yourself, I guess, for lack of better words, like just go get it.
I know my hometown and Erath County too have a bunch of like Facebook groups like Felisa said, so that is always a good place to start if you're scared to go onto things like the internet. Not things like the internet, go onto websites on the internet that aren't necessarily trusted websites. At least in your hometown, you're typically only a few people away from knowing if that person is a quote unquote safe place to deal your services, if that makes sense.
For sure.
But yeah, that's kind of leading to the end of our episode. Do we have any office updates?
Yes, so we actually have Cash Cart coming up on Tuesday, March 12th. So if you see us driving around in a cart, just talk to us. We can give you a ride anywhere you need to be. We also, once you get in the car, we'll be able to ask you trivia questions, anything in general, financial questions. And if you get them right, you have a chance to win cash, cool shirts, cool cups, anything really that we bring with us. But we hope to see you on March 12th.
Yeah, it's basically just like a fun little trivia game to just kind of get out there and see you guys and educate y'all more on financial literacy. The trivia is going to be like random stuff, financial literacy, of course, and then Tarleton tradition. So it's a lot of fun. So if y'all see us, just yell us down, flag us down, whatever you want to do. But yeah, like Hector said, we hope to see y'all.
Even if you don't win, you get a free ride to class, so that's always an incentive. But I think that is all for us for this week. Remember to tune in next episode. Like I mentioned, we are going to have a member of Wellington State Bank join us to discuss banking in college. But until then, be well, be ready, be Texan Smart.